Hi, my name is Marcos. I'm a farmer here in Mato Grosso. Just would like to. This is my first video. Uh, I just wanna try to make a video in English. I have this channel in German, but I have a, I'd like to take this try and to do a video in English and explain a little bit about what's happening in here in Mato Grosso concerning soybeans and how is the condition over here and what's my opinion about how the harvest will be in this year, this season. Let's start with weather condition. It was pretty rainy in December and beginning of January. It was more than 3 weeks of cloudy weather and a lot of rain. I would say in my property here it wasn't so much above average, but it was cloudy and it was ideal condition for diseases and on soybeans, and it also delayed a little bit the cycle of the soybeans, so it will be probably more than 5 days later the harvest. So even though everything will be okay, a bit of a good harvest this year with high yields as expected, but what we have noticed since last year in my property at least, there was a kind of anomaly that's called over here that is affecting our soybeans, and there was no explanation what could be, if is there a disease, a fungus disease, or what else. What they found in the laboratory analysis in the laboratory is that the fungus what they found are already always there. There was nothing new over the analysis, but if you take a look at the soybeans and the pods, you see that they actually are rotten, so too much area, and some are just, the pods are just open and the grain are all rotten. So there is no exact explanation what it could be. And this variety, of course, as are not all varieties are affected by this kind of anomaly, is really different. There are varieties that are not so much affected, and that led us to think about or to suspect that this can be a genetic problem, that all those varieties that are bred to reach high yields potential are, how can I say, are a factor that can lead to this disease. So the soybeans are really weak when it comes to how can I say, to protect against disease, and led us to open door for fungus and all those yes, problems that you have over here in these wet conditions and a lot of rain and so on. Yes, just to, I have no idea how much I will lose over here. And look at the soybeans, it's 50-50 that is affected of the pods, and I don't know, it's really like worrisome. And this other region, if you take the highway BR 163 from Nova Mutum upwards, and a lot of it's what I've heard about, every property have this problem, more or less. How much we will lose and on wheels, I have no idea. I have to wait to the harvest to see, make it countable. And I would say in my property, in my farm, I won't have how can I say, optimal harvest with the, so it can have the potential yields that I expected to have, and unfortunately, and well, let's see what happens. And other regions are really better, and overall Brazil will have, of course, a good harvest this year. There's no doubt about that, but not so yes, because last year I believe that we lost more than 20 million metric tons of soybeans were lost due to the dry conditions in the south, and It was really bad over there. This year still in Rio Grande do Sul there is a dry condition there, but that's not, the origin is not that big, because last year was still Paraná was really affected. In Paraná this year is small, and they already it's affected. So farmers over there, some will harvest full potentials of their fields, and yes, that's the difference. And unfortunately over here is could be a perfect year, but or almost perfect year, because too much rains of course is not something that we wish for, yes, for our crops. But you have this problem with this kind of anomaly here that no one knows till now what could be. And yes, even though if apply fungicides, you're applied here 4 times fungicide with 4 different fungicides and with different mode of actions and so on. And yes, and for it's I of course without those fungicides it would be really worse, the problem. But yes, I have to wait. And the second crop will come, corn. I will sow them right after the soybeans, and hopefully corn will be better this year, because since I sowed the soybeans earlier this year, like 2 weeks earlier, so I will be sowing the soybeans like 10 days earlier, and so there will be a good window of rain to develop this corn, and I hopefully I will be higher yields this year. But of course, as a farmer, I know that you can't be sure what it comes about the weather and so on. But hopefully it will rain normally till April, and so that is enough for the development of the corn that is being sowing, seeding in February next month, in the coming days. Next week I will start to harvest my soybeans, and so at the same time I will be sowing my corn. And yes, hopefully if the soybeans are not that good, maybe corn will be. And it seems that corn in Brazil is not so much yes, available to buy, and yeah, Brazil exports some corn, and yes, the second crop of corn will be really needed safrinha for the consumption. So yes, that's it. My first video in English, and I have no idea. It will be interesting for you guys, but hopefully I feel that it's very important, someone from Mato Grosso to show how's going on over here with farming, agriculture, and all this, yes, everything that concerns about farming and the condition over here, and how will be the harvest. And I don't know if you can see, the neighbor is already reaping the beans. Yes, I believe you can see there. It's not perfect, as I'm filming with my cell phone, and that's not the best picture or film, but yes. And the first farmers that are harvesting their beans, they were harvesting, the yields are good. They were not so much affected with this anomaly. That's another point. Yeah, I was forgetting about it. The later you sow your beans, the worse is this anomaly. So I don't know what exactly it could be. There are a lot of suspicions in the beginning. Last year was it would be weather conditions, so much stress with high temperatures or something like that, and some days without rain, so the plant was passing through a stress period of time. Yeah, but some say, it can be the condition of soil conditions, like if there no tillage, it's being done in a good way, like if the soil have enough organic matter, and so on and on. But even though farmers that have a good no-tillage practice, like using grass, cover crops, or together with corn, grass or other cover crops with higher organic matter and soil, they also have the same kind of problem. So it's really something like, it's not only about how your fields are being managed and how your tillage is actually being practiced, or yes, it seems that, yeah, what I have noticed that soybeans that have smaller grain, smaller pods, they are not so much affected about what's coming up, about pods being popped up. So that's maybe the difference. Soybeans varieties that have really huge pods, really huge grains, really heavy grains, they're more affected about that, because it seems that, I'm not sure if the name of this component, lignina in Portuguese, something like that, is the plant that is actually responsible for the strength of the pods, of the cover of the pods, that protects the grain too, yes, against, yeah, resistance, and so much that keeps the grain protected. So some say that maybe these varieties have less this lignin, and so they are not so the strength is not so good for against the disease or fungus that is attacking, rotting the pods. I don't know. There are a lot of things that's going on here, and hopefully in the coming season there will be some answers and you can actually do something against it. So that's it. My video is still long, but hopefully guys could bear me, and yes, see you next time. Greetings from Brazil.